I started working there and I got pregnant, and my fiance and I decided that it would be best for us to move from Lubbock back to Fort Worth just so we could be near family and everything for that really big change. Before I worked at Palm Beach and Lubbock, I actually worked at Palm Beach here in Fort Worth. And they are corporate owned here in Fort Worth. You earn 10% commission based on what you sell and everything, and then you just get that every, I believe here in Fort Worth you get that every 2 weeks with your paycheck. And then at Palm Beach and Lubbock, you only got your commission every month, like with one of the checks. And so that was kind of weird. It just kind of clumped it all together. And since I had worked at another Palm Beach before, I just assumed that you got what you earned. And so later on, I think one of my coworkers had told me, like, hey, you know, if you leave, you don't get your commission for that month. And it all started to click, like why they put it in one check at the end of the month so that they can keep and withhold as much commission from you as possible if you quit. And so at that point, you know, my one of my coworkers and I just started like working through it and, you know, looking at handbooks and looking at all the stuff that they signed. They had made us sign a handbook that we didn't even see. Like they had all these papers. They had one paper that you signed and it just says that you've read the handbook, and they make it look like the handbook is the paper that they give you, but there's a whole nother handbook that says all this other crazy stuff in it. We just started digging and we were like, you know, there's got to be more to this. Like there's this rule, but it's got to be put somewhere. They can't just tell us we can't have our commission. And so we started digging and digging, and I think we had to get on, like, we had to use an admin password or something like that to get on the computer, and it was like hidden way down in this folder. And we found the handbook, and that's when we printed out pages and pages of all this information that, you know, we were said to have agreed to and signed and everything, but had never been brought to our attention. And so, you know, we brought it to our manager's attention that we had found it, and she almost was like scared and was just like, y'all aren't supposed to be on there, like, you know, whoa. And so basically in the handbook, it just said, you know, like that they don't have to pay you commission if you leave or whatever. But then there was one little part of it that said, if you put in your 2 weeks and you make it known that you're going to be leaving, that they will give you your commission. You have to bring it to their attention and all this stuff. And so I was like, okay, there's my loophole. So basically, I called, you know, the district manager at the time, Courtney Keith, and I talked to her on the phone. And I just said, hey, you know, sorry to bother you, but like, I heard that I'm not getting my commission. Is that true? And she was like, yeah, that's true. That's what the handbook says that you signed if you leave, you know, all that. And so I was like, well, I found this one part in the handbook that said, you know, you do get your commission if you put in your 2 weeks and finish it out, which I did. And she basically just snubbed it aside and was like, no, you don't. You don't get it. You're not getting it. Sorry. She was very defensive. And she was like, you know, at first she just kind of was like, why are you calling me? I mean, she was friendly, but kind of just like, who are you? And why are you calling me? And then it moved to like, almost like shutting me down. Like, I see what you're trying to do and it's not going to happen. You know, stop looking, you're not getting it, that kind of thing. And I was pretty filled with rage. You know, we work at this, you know, little place, and we got paid well, but the commission is really, really what we worked for. I mean, we worked hard, we sold stuff for the company to help them make money, and we got a reward for it. That was our commission. And I mean, bottom line, it was money that I worked for, and, you know, it was an agreement that I was going to get it. And so that was about $500 of money that I needed for our move and everything that we didn't get. And, you know, I brought that to Courtney's attention. I did tell her, you know, I'm having a baby, we're moving, we need this money. And she was basically like, sorry about your bad luck, not going to happen. And so that was pretty frustrating, pretty infuriating. And we kind of just felt like hopeless. Like, what else? I mean, what do we do? They're the boss, you know? So basically, anytime we talked to anyone, they were just shutting us down about it. And so I definitely think that they underestimate us, so that they don't they think that we're naive, that we don't really know our rights or our rules or anything like that. I think that's why they were shady about the the handbook and everything. Us employees weren't allowed to get on the computer to see those kind of documents, and that raised a lot of red flags. Like, why aren't we allowed to see the handbook? And so that was really it raised a lot of red flags. I definitely think that they looked down upon us because we were young, and they just thought that we didn't know any better, and they definitely took advantage of that. Read everything, read into everything whenever you're signing contracts, especially for a job, especially when you do something like sales with commission or anything that's not like hourly or salary rate. And don't ever let anyone tell you that, snub you aside or say, no, don't let them, do anything like that. I mean, really, you need to look into stuff if you think something's shady and stand your ground because you have rights.